Hey team, happy Friday. Hope your weekend is off to a good start. Mine started off with going to the dentist and getting fitted for a night guard. If that isn't the most 30+ statement I've ever said, I don't know what is. And how am I spending the rest of my Friday? I'm gonna be drinking some wine and baking. 32 going on 82 people. So what are we making today? We are actually making a couple of different kinds of mini tart recipes. Yes, these are store-bought. My pastry work still needs a little bit of practice. But one of them is going to be a mini peach and amaretto tartlet, and the other one is going to be a chocolate mousse. I have never made either one of these before, so we'll have to see how it goes. Also, amazingly, the peach tartlet that I'm going to make is vegan. I did double check with a couple of my vegan friends, and these no-name mini tart shells are vegan. From what I could tell from the ingredient list, they were like kind of a bit full of chemicals, but they were vegan. And so, since it's one of their birthdays that we're celebrating tomorrow, I'm going to attempt to make some vegan peach tarts for him. We're gonna start off by giving the tart shells a bit of a blind bake. And so for the peach ones, I'm gonna throw them in the oven for about 5 or 6 minutes, just so that they get a little bit of a crust, because once I actually fill them, they will go back into the oven and finish. But for the chocolate mousse ones, I'm going to cook them probably for about 10 to 12 minutes and get them more fully cooked, because when I fill them with the mousse, they're not going back in the oven, they're actually going in the fridge to set. So I wanna make sure that the tart isn't too doughy and has a nice texture to it. So the filling for the peach tart is very, very straightforward. So we've just got about 3 peaches chopped up, fairly small dices. You want them to fit nicely into the tarts. We've got a bit of cinnamon in here, about a half a cup of brown sugar, and we did put a tablespoon of flour in here because as it bakes, that's what's gonna help thicken a lot of the juice that's in there. And to top it all off, we are going to add maybe a tablespoon or 2 of some of my homemade amaretto, which is absolutely delicious, by the way. Now, don't worry about it being too boozy as well, because when they bake, all of the booze is gonna cook off, but you're gonna be left with a lot of that almond caramelly kind of flavor, which is what I'm hoping for. So when you have that stirred all together, you have sort of what resembles almost like a peach pie filling, except you can definitely smell the booze and it smells awesome. So I took out the pre-baked shells for the peach tarts and I have since filled them, and I've got the chocolate mousse tarts cooking in the oven right now, but look at how good these look. So these are going to have to go back into the oven for about 25 minutes to finish up baking the crust and getting the filling. Okay, peach tarts are back in the oven. We can work on our chocolate mousse. Now, this chocolate mousse recipe I found was only 2 ingredients, and that was chocolate of your choice. I'm using semi-sweet, doesn't need to be overly sweet, personally, and whipping cream. That's it. I know, I'm skeptical too, but we're gonna start off by melting the chocolate over a double boiler. I find that this is the best way to melt chocolate as opposed to the microwave, because with the microwave, you kind of have to do it in 30-second increments and kind of sort of keep stirring as it goes. Whereas with this, you just get a much more even melt on your chocolate and it tempers better. By the way, I just finished the rest of that peach filling. It's stupid how good it is. So we melted our chocolate, beautifully tempered, nice and glossy. And we've whipped our whipping cream until we've gotten about some nice stiff peaks, so for about 5 minutes. Now at this point, we just need to take the chocolate and fold it into the whipping cream. Fold in the cheese. Schitt's Creek reference? No. So you don't want to just mix it too willy-nilly because again, whipping cream, kind of like egg whites, the way that it gets fluffy is by putting air into it. So if you mix it a little bit too much, or if you don't sort of fold it in gently, then it'll kind of deflate, and then you're not gonna get the texture that you want. Guys, I think I just made mousse. It looks nice and light and fluffy and... Taste check. I think I made mousse. Holy crap. So far so good. And now that the mousse is all finished and the tart shells are nice and cooled, we just transfer the mousse into a piping bag. If you don't actually have a piping bag, just use a Ziploc bag and cut the corner out. Still works. I got mine at home since it was like $6. But we're just going to pipe them in just like that. I'm gonna finish these up and then we can garnish them. So I just added a cute little decoration with some white chocolate chips on the chocolate mousse. You can use anything from like a little raspberry to like a little strawberry floret would be really cute on it. Whatever you feel like doing. And then I'm gonna throw these in the fridge and they'll get set up overnight, and that's it. Chocolate mousse tartlet. Just in time, the peach tartlets came out, and oh my god, they smell so good. To finish off these bad boys, we are just going to garnish them with a bit of crunched up golden grahams, which, yes, are also vegan. Who knew? Because in this way it gives it nice, just that little bit of crunch, kind of like a graham cracker topping, without needing to use, you know, any butter or anything like that in an actual streusel or something like that you would probably top any kind of like a peach tart with. So that's it. Hopefully everybody likes them tomorrow. Have a good weekend, guys.